No sane person could see it coming. It takes an absurd God to engineer what's happening now in America. It's beyond any sane person's conception.
Terwijl Amerika zich opmaakt voor de inauguratie van Donald Trump, is de schrijver Colson Whitehead op bezoek in Nederland. Hij gaat morgen niet kijken en hij raadt zijn landgenoten aan om weg te blijven bij de televisie.
He's so obsessed with ratings that I think it's every sane person's duty to not watch the inauguration, because he'll get the ratings the next day and see that it's the lowest in decades and be very upset. So,
poetic justice: the less people watch, the more you enjoy it.
The more I enjoy it, the more he gets upset. Yeah, so he still thinks he's the host of Celebrity Apprentice, and he's in for an awakening, unfortunately. Well, we all are. So.
Zijn roman De Ondergrondse Spoorweg over de slavernij is een groot succes in Amerika. Het boek won de prestigieuze National Book Award en werd uitverkoren door Oprah Winfrey.
I'm thrilled to be able to, through the miracle of videotape, be able to share with you my next book club selection. It's The Underground Railroad by Colson Whitehead.
Slavery was such a brutal system that we, in looking back, we hang on to the small kindnesses and acts of heroism that made the abolition of slavery possible. And part of that is people who worked on the Underground Railroad. There were free people, free black people in the South helping slaves get north. White folks in the South who hated slavery.
Tijdens een bezoek aan het museum het Mauritshuis in Den Haag hoort Whitehead over de Nederlandse betrokkenheid bij de slavernij. Johan Maurits, naar wie het museum is vernoemd, was eigenaar van plantages in Brazilië.
So this is a complicated story, one with great beauty and great tragedy all at the same time.
Well, we say, he made money in sugar.
Yeah.
He made money in slavery.
Yes.
And, we talk about the legacy of slavery and discrimination and racial prejudice, but it's also the money, and the money that builds civilizations. Cotton and sugar makes the United States into a big power, and that money remains, that power remains. And so we're in the sugar house, it was built on slave labor.
This house was called the Sugar Palace in the 17th century.
My grandmother was from Barbados, and when the U.S. ramped up their cotton trade and it became a real economic force, they used the tools and techniques perfected in Brazil, in the Caribbean, to keep their slaves in line.
De eerste zwarte president van Amerika staat na 8 jaar op het punt te vertrekken. Barack Obama was zo te spreken over de roman van Whitehead dat hij hem vorige week met 4 andere schrijvers uitnodigde in het Witte Huis.
I wrote a book that allowed me to get into that company, but he said, it took 8 years to sort of have this lunch, and we were in awe.
Who was we?
It was Dave Eggers, Junot Diaz, A.D. Smith, Barbara Kingsolver, and
authors he liked.
Yeah, the authors he liked. And about 10 minutes into the lunch, he said, "You guys are tense. Loosen up. I'm not going to bite you." And we started to,
I might be president, but I'm also a human being.
Yes, and a reader. So we talked about writing. We talked about politics. His next project, he's going to do a memoir of his time in office.
I want to do some writing. I want to be quiet a little bit and not hear myself talk so darn much. I want to spend precious time with my girls. So those are my priorities this year.
Whitehead bezoekt ook het Edith Stein College in Den Haag. Een middelbare school met jongeren uit 50 culturen. Hij vertelt ze dat ras en kleur geen belemmering vormen om in de huid te kruipen van een denkbeeldig personage.
You can be black and do a shitty job writing about black history. You can be white and do a good job writing about black history. I think whether you're writing about something that's close to you or a different culture or a culture that's just next door, you use your imagination and empathy to get it right.
Het hart van het boek is de strijd tussen de gevluchte slavin Cora en de witte slavenjager Ridgway.
When I get them together, the slave philosophy, the slave philosophy who wants freedom, and the slave master philosophy who wants everything under his dominion. They come together and have a conversation about what it means to be American and where America is going in different ways.
They seem to be embroiled in a kind of a dance of death and life.
Yeah, no, it's a death match. Will the forces of justice win the argument, or will the forces of might and power? And I think that's the struggle for America.
En dan is er nog de roem na het schrijven van een bestseller. Whitehead over zijn reactie na de uitverkiezing door Oprah.
So she just said Oprah, and I was like, shut the front door, which is like, I guess from sitcoms, like you don't want to curse, you say shut the front door. And then that could be a few things, like an interview. And then she said Oprah's book club, and I was like, motherfucker. But I was on a plane and surrounded by people, and so they were looking at me. Luckily, Homeland Security didn't, take me off the plane.
Zo is Whitehead een ster in Den Haag. De dag voor zich een politieke aardschok voltrekt in Washington.
If I were home, I'd be on social media heckling with all the other people I follow on social media, making jokes about it. But again,
You're far away in Europe.
to drive Donald Trump crazy, you're supposed to ignore it. And so all the good people will turn their backs and go to a museum, read a book, talk to your family. I might, pick up a novel I've been trying to read for a while. So we'll see. It'll be a pageantry of horror. The start of a 4-year pageantry of horror, frankly.